Hi, everyone. I'm really excited today. We get the wonderful chance to talk to MH Woodscourt. Sorry, I have to say your name right. There we go. But we are super excited to hear about some of the new stuff that you've been doing. I've just been editing like the whole year so far, and you've put out like 5 things, and you got 5 more in the works. So you're so much faster than me.
Oh, thank you. I'm not though. I have my backlog of unpublished manuscripts, and that's what really gives me the edge. So,
I think your backlog is a lot higher than mine, but I don't know. I've got a bunch too, so we'll keep working on it. But you've been doing so much stuff. So tell us, everyone wants to hear about your new book. Tell us about Crownless.
well, so Crownless is a standalone young adult high fantasy novel. It is this one was pretty fun because I took some real life, I guess, geological places, and I kind of adapted them to a fantasy setting. So I have kind of an Asian influence, a European influence, and a little bit more Middle Eastern influence, and I kind of just tweaked it and made it its own thing. So that was really fun for me to expand, explore, and change up a little bit. And so that was kind of my setting for it. Um,
That sounds amazing.
oh, it's so much fun. I hope it comes across the way I want it to. But so it is basically about the storyteller. He is wandering, and he is actually he has a fatal illness, and he's trying to find what he considers the gateway to the world where his stories actually take place. He totally believes his stories are real, and he goes into this kingdom where fairy tales are against the law, and he gets captured, and then he ends up escaping, but the spoiled prince of the kingdom ends up joining him in his travels, unwillingly. And so
Okay.
it's about the two of them traveling together, and the prince has a lot to learn, and the storyteller is pretty wise. And it's just kind of they're foils of each other, so they kind of share the spot as main character. And it's
Okay.
just, yeah, that's pretty much the basic plot there.
Wow. So you've got 2 people who didn't choose to be together that probably fight a fair bit, and they're, having all sorts of adventures.
It's pretty fun. The storyteller is really mild mannered, so he doesn't do a lot of fighting. But
Okay.
the prince sure tries. And then they have a couple of other people that are traveling with them as well, and it's just this motley band of misfits. And none of them get along really super well, and there's a lot of tension, but the storyteller kind of holds them together. So,
Okay. So where are they going? Where do they end up with this journey that they're taking?
well, what they've each got their own destination in mind, and the storyteller, as I said, is looking to find this way into the fairy land of his stories. And the prince is like, you're crazy, but he has to flee because his own mother, the queen, sold him out to an invading empire in order to preserve her own skin.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice mom.
she's a piece of work. And then you have the invading empire and their goals and their connection, the prince of the empire and his connection to the storyteller. So there's a lot of parts and pieces as they slowly come together into this climax.
Wow. I can't wait to read it. I'm excited now. That's awesome. I love it. So you've had more exciting stuff too. And I found out that you just launched an audiobook for The Crow King. I'm super excited to hear it. Tell us more about that.
Thank you. Well, so I've been working on getting the audiobook together since January. The Crow King, when it launched in September, I thought it would be really fun to do an audiobook, and I've been doing different research into how to bring that about, because I don't trust my own voice to actually deliver the characters properly.
Well, and you wrote the bulk of the book is from your main character's point of view, and you probably, like, if that be the case, a male narrator will be awesome for it, right?
Yes, and Logan Stearns is my narrator. We come together. It came together through ACX, which is the Amazon program. And he was one of the people who auditioned for the role. He was perfect. He had the perfect voice for the main character, Gwen. And he does such a great job with even the other characters. He kills it in the best way. And
Nice. I can't wait to hear it.
oh, it's so exciting. It just came out last week.
Mhm.
Um, and so we approved it, it went through, and now it's available on Audible. So if you have an Audible membership, it's there. And and I believe it will also be on iTunes, but I haven't
Okay.
heard that. So
We'll
yeah,
make sure we put a link at the after this interview so everyone can find it. That would be awesome.
what's really cool is Logan is phenomenal. He has agreed to work on the Winter King, the second half of the duology. So
Nice.
that is in the works as well. So it's going to be not too long before that one's available also.
Yay, then you get a complete set. That'll be amazing.
Yes, yes.
Did he do a good job handling the female characters as well?
He did. You know, one of my problems with a lot of male narrators is they kind of tend to overplay the females, trying to make them
Right.
sound higher pitched. He does a great job, especially with the main girl, Nethera. He delivers her lines so beautifully. I was just grinning from ear to ear. Like it was
That's awesome.
it was weird to hear my own story being read by somebody else and their take on the lines, but he did such a good job. I was like, he really brought it to life.
That's amazing. Where my book has main characters of both genders, I thought, it would be really cool to have both a male narrator and a female narrator. But I thought that was great until I actually listened to an audiobook where they did that. And what it meant was that all the parts that are from the female narrator's point of view, she performs all of those voices, meaning she's performing male and female voices. And then the male narrator, same thing. So you have conversations with people, and then they have two different voices. And it just messed with my brain.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you just get into one narrator's voice, and then, it just, your brain takes care of the rest. But it was really hard for me because then you had her portraying his voice, but then you had him portraying his voice and her voice. So they each had two different voices. And so anyway, so great. I can't wait to hear the everybody performed by one narrator. So I think that's definitely the way to go.
Yes, I would agree. That's an interesting idea, but yeah.
The execution wasn't quite what I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on an audiobook. That's a whole other story, but we're here to talk about you today. So that's really good. So you said you've got some other projects coming up. Do you want to say just a word about those as we go through here today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't work on just one project at once. So I have 3 other projects in the works right now.
Wow. I feel so slow. I'm like, what have I been doing all year? She's got all these things going on. So great job. Your fans are going to be so busy all the time because you'll be writing it as fast as they're reading it. So
I know. Sometimes I'm like, please, I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but I'm such a ferocious reader. I'm like, give me more when so I try to. People can take their time. If it's there, it's there, right?
You'll never actually write it faster than they can read it. So don't worry. There's plenty of room. It just makes me feel like I'm really slow.
No, you know.
I will keep working.
So one of the projects that I'm working on, I don't know if you've heard at all about this new beta thing that Amazon is bringing out called Kindle.
I haven't done anything with it yet because it's brand new, but go ahead.
So they gave me access to the beta program and it hasn't gone live yet, but I am gonna try that. And so I'm releasing an urban fantasy book on that one, which is a little different from my normal,
Okay.
But it's actually it's the first novel I finished writing. Not to say the first I came up with, but it's the first one I finished writing. I've completely rewritten it and I'm going to be launching that on Kindle Vella. And we'll just kind of see what happens with that. So that's an exciting little side project.
That's awesome.
And then in the meantime, I am working on what's the first book of my long series that I'm going to be launching here. And it is with beta readers right now, officially as of yesterday. So I shouldn't be too long before it's out. And it is going to be, the series is the Record of the Sentinel Seer. And it, so the first book is going to be out probably end of the summer, 1st of autumn this year. And then I'm writing the second book of that run right now. So that's my main project that I'm going to be working on after
Nice.
college is launched. And then I have a third little project as well that I just do because I have to work on multiple things at once.
You have to
So
switch around. And you're hoping to have like 5 books in that series, aren't you?
I am,
The long
yes.
series.
Yeah, with the record of the Sentinel Seer, it is at least going to be 5 books long, potentially more. So it's going to be my nice long series for people to dig into who prefer those long series. Because it's funny because I've talked to people who love the standalones, and they're like, I just want it one and done. I just need to know that it's complete. And then I have people who are like, no, I need a series. I won't read a standalone. I just have to dig in and know I'm with these characters for the long haul. And so I'm like, well, I got you all covered because I can't just stick with one thing.
I love that you do both because I mean it's really interesting how strong some people's opinions are on, I have to have a series, or I hate having, my pet peeve is never being able to find them in order. I've said that many times, but it's not that I don't like a series, as long as they're all stacked up on my nightstand so that when I finish the one and there's a terrible cliffhanger, I can just pick up the next book and keep going.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like for me, I like to know, especially in this day and age where you can publish pretty easily if you want to. I need to know that there's some staying power and that I'm not going to get halfway through this series I've invested in and it's not going to go anywhere because the author gave up or
that would be so sad. Like 3 books in, you're like, oh, I guess they went back to their day job.
Exactly. One of my very most favorite authors, and she's a traditionally published author. She wrote 3 novels and there was supposed to be one more. And I don't know what happened to her. I hope she's okay. I hope it was nothing.
Wow.
But like I'll never have closure potentially. And breaks my heart.
Maybe she'll have a change of heart someday and come back and release that 4th book and you'll be like, yay, I know how it ends now.
It'll be Christmas. Like, yay.
We're going to try really hard not to do that to our readers.
That's exactly my thought. I'm like, I if she ever comes back, I'll be the first one in line to buy her book. But I'm grateful she's taught me a valuable lesson about sticking with what I'm doing and not leaving people high and dry.
I think that's great. And everyone is going to be so excited to see all this new stuff that you're putting out. And I mean, don't tell us when we're getting to the bottom of the backlog, because we want to just keep enjoying book after book and think, wow, she can write all these in just a couple of months.
I won't say a word.
Okay, got it. And I'll keep working through my backlog too, but I'm not as quick as you are. So we'll just keep going.
That's what we do.
That's awesome. Well, keep us informed, and then we'll put some links and stuff with this interview so that you can check out all these fabulous new projects. And we wish you the best of luck and keep up the amazing work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me here today.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.